All right. Another episode. What's this? 169? Let me see. I think it's episode 160. Yeah, 169. Had to give me something to snack on. Let me see what YouTube looking like. All right, we good. All right, so what's going on, everybody? Look like 5 minutes went by that I wasted, and I apologize for the people that watched it later. All right, my question of the day is, would you accept field modes if the core boxing mechanics were truly realistic, truly elite? I should have did the question for today to be, would you buy a boxing game that had realistic mechanics and everything, but no realistic boxers? That's where, to me, that's where a lot of developers mess up at. They build the game around the wrong thing. They build the game around the boxers' names and the boxers. No, get the core mechanics right. You would get more fans that way. Fans that wouldn't even think about buying a boxing game. Me, I pay attention to everything. Even when y'all show boxers the video game, I'm talking about Steel City. When y'all show boxers what Undisputed is, they're not amused by it. And I know a lot of y'all, see, y'all keep going by the old standards of how people looked at things. The older the generation before me, they don't look at gaming the same way. They expect more from technology. Oh, that's what y'all got. Basically, that's the looks that I see some of these guys on people's faces when they see the boxing game. It's not the same look like when you see Gilbert Arenas, he see himself in 2K. It's not the same look. It's not the same feedback. But the quick thing people gonna keep saying, it's just a video game, but it's not free. It's not free. It's like you pay for a ticket for a boxing match, and the jokers don't really do nothing but hug the whole fight. You got a reason to be mad or protest. That's how a lot of people feel about the way boxing video games are being developed. Let me give my early shout out. Shout out to Don D 205. He's on Twitch. Don D 205. He's on Instagram. Don D 205 TV. He's on Twitter. Don D 205. And support the brother. Support him. He do some great content, especially in the sports realm. I apologize, Don D. I fell asleep. If you was talking to me or anything, I fell asleep. I had a busy day yesterday. Let me see. Nobody's in here. All right. Give me a few minutes. Start start the show. I guess y'all will be like, hey, all that talking you was doing, I thought the show started. Technically it was. Um I wrote an article so I could try to get some guests in here from the industry. Hopefully they see, they can critique the questions so I don't ask them nothing that they're uncomfortable with answering. Let me see. Um, two paths: saving undisputed or demanding something better. Two paths: saving undisputed or demanding something better. This episode is going to be uncomfortable for some people. Not because it's hateful, not because it's divisive, not because it's honest. Well, let's say decisive, excuse me. Right now, the community is split into two clear groups: fans trying to save Undisputed, and fans hoping another company builds the boxing game they actually want. And I'm going to say this plainly. I no longer have hope that Steel City Interactive is going to make the game many of us asked for. That doesn't mean I hate them. It doesn't mean I want them to fail. It means I'm evaluating what's in front of me. And what's in front of me does not inspire confidence. And what's in front of me does not inspire confidence. The Save the Game Camp. The Save the Game Camp. There are fans who genuinely genuinely believe Undisputed can be turned around. They host leagues. They create rule sets. They promote realism. They run tournaments. They defend the game publicly. They are trying to stabilize something unstable. I respect the efforts, but let's be real about something. If the core mechanics are fundamentally shallow or flawed, stamina logic, damage modeling, defensive responsibility, AI identity, punch impact, variance, clinch realism, weight transfer authenticity, you cannot fix structural issues with community structure. You can organize around a system. You cannot redesign it from the outside. That's the harsh reality. Let me see. The market push problem. The market push problem. This is where it gets uncomfortable. We are in the middle of a mechanical, controversial game. We are in the middle of a mechanically controversial game. And what do we see? Marketing pushes, tutorial drops years late, presentation polish, influencer cycles. But Where are the deep systems breakdown? Where are the dev diaries about AI overhauls? Where are the stamina modeling redesign discussions? Where's the public roadmap addressing foundational complaints? If your house has cracks in the foundation, you don't start repainting the walls. If your house has cracks in the foundation, you don't start repainting the walls. The timing feels disconnected from the reality players are experiencing. The timing feels disconnected from the reality players are experiencing. And that disconnect is what makes many of us uneasy. They know what we want. This excuse is repeated constantly. They know what we want. If they truly knew what we wanted, why did we get this mess? If they truly knew what we wanted or want, why did we get this mess? If they understood why is inside fighting shallow, why is defensive nuance limited, why is stamina exploitable, why is AI identity inconsistent? Understanding demand and executing on it are two different things. You cannot claim awareness while the outcome contradicts that awareness. The results are the evidence. The other camp, build something better. There's another group. They're not trying to save Undisputed. They're saying let's let someone else build it. After over 1 million copies sold in a short window, the demand for boxing games is proven. After over 1 million copies sold in a short window, the demand for boxing games is proven. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. No. All right. Licensing is not required to build superior mechanics. Licensing is not required to build superior mechanics. Presentation polish does not equal simulation depth. Marketing does not equal mechanical innovation. Marketing does not equal mechanical innovation. So some fans are shifting energy away from repair. So some fans are shifting energy away from repair and towards replacement. And that shift is growing. The survey is the only hope. I know a lot of people, they feel like a survey is a waste of time. I'm going to stay on this. Me saying something about a survey is not going away at all. It's not going away. The survey is the only hope. If there is one realistic path to clarity, it is this: a third party, transparent community survey. Not internal, not curated, not filtered. A survey created and audited by a neutral party. Results published publicly. Raw data visibility. Why? Because speculation is useless. Because speculation is useless. Arguments are circular. Arguments are circular. Echo chambers are loud. Data force alignment. Data forces alignment. If 70% of players want deeper stamina modeling, that's evidence. If 70% of players want deeper stamina modeling, that's evidence. If more players prioritize simulation over arcade balance, that's evidence. Without data, everything is opinion wars. Without data, everything is opinion wars. I don't care if any of you content creators or developers say, no, we know what people want. Nah, man. Nah. Let the data decide that. Let the data decide that. Not you. Because you might be biased. With data, companies lose plausible deniability. With data, companies lose plausible deniability. They can't deny what the data is giving them. Ignoring the naysayers. These are the people who have given up, settled, accepted the flaws, defended every decision automatically. That's their choice. But progress has never come from resignation. Progress has never come from resignation. If you want change, you cannot let just accept it. It's good enough. They're ending. Be grateful. Silence constructive pressure. You can't let that silence constructive pressure. Unity moves company. Unity moves company. Division creates noise. Right now, the community is fractured, and fractured communities are easy to ignore. That's what they're building on. That's what they're hoping on. That's what they're hoping. My position. I waited for well over 2 decades for a realistic boxing simulation. Not a hybrid, not a compromise, not a compromise. Not a compromise, not a workaround ecosystem. A real boxing system. Right now, I don't see evidence that the current direction leads there. I don't see that. I don't even see in Undisputed 2 we're going to get what a lot of us want. I don't see that. Right now, that doesn't mean it's impossible. It means hope requires proof. It means hope requires proof. And proof requires transparency. They use that word as a shield when they're not really using it. We're trying to be transparent. Yeah, right. We're trying to be transparent with everybody. They're not trying to be transparent. It sounds good saying it. It sounds good saying it. Okay. So here we are, two paths. Say what exists or demand something better. But quitting quietly while marketing ramps up and mechanical issues linger, that's not alignment. If there is one actionable move, let less it this be this. Push for a third party survey. Demand transparency. Ignore defeatism. Organize around data, not emotion. Organize around data, not emotion. Because boxing deserves depth and fans deserve honesty. Are you trying to save Undisputed or are you waiting for someone else to build the boxing game you've been asking for? I'm going to go deeper. I got it deeper. I'm going to go deeper. Let me see what y'all saying in here. Nobody yet? Okay. The psychology of saving. When fans try to save a game, it usually comes from one of three places: emotional investment, financial investment, identity investment. People build leagues, they build YouTube channels, they build communities around this title. So when criticism comes, it feels personal. But we have to separate identity from evaluation. You can appreciate effort and still admit execution fell apart. You can respect developers and still demand better systems. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. The cost of lowering standards. Here's the real long-term danger. If the industry sees boxer fans will accept shallow systems as long as presentation is good enough, what incentives is there to go deeper? If marketing cycles work, if influencer pushes stabilize backlash, if cosmetic updates distract from structural flaws, the mechanical rich boxing simulations become financially unnecessary. The mechanically rich boxing simulations become financially unnecessary. And that's the part that worries me most. Because once companies learn the depth isn't required, depth disappears. What a real survey should ask. If we're serious about a third-party survey, it cannot be vague. It should measure core mechanics. Is stamina mechanics realistic? Does weight transfer affect punch impact? Does defensive IQ matter? Does ring generalship feel meaningful? AI identity. Do AI boxers feel statistically distinct? Can you identify archetypes without looking at stats? Can you identify archetypes without looking at stats? Do difficulty scales intelligently, or does difficulty scale intelligently or artificially? Excuse me. All right. Simulation versus hybrid. Do players want arcade concession? Should realism be default? Should simulation sliders be optional or mandatory. Transparency. Do players feel heard? Do players trust customization? Do players believe feedback changes systems? That's how you get clarity. Not through Reddit debates, not through Twitter threads, through measurable data. The Indie Shield. I talk about this all the time. There's a reoccurring defense. They're indie. People still saying that. Even though it's been proven that they're not an indie company anymore. But people still giving them that. So they can feel comfortable. Indie does not excuse design philosophy. Budget affects scale. Budget affects content value. Budgets affect animation quantity. Budget does not automatically excuse flawed system logic. If you build a stamina model, it should reflect boxing. If you build inside fighting, it should resemble boxing. If you market realism, it should function realistically. If you market realism, it should function realistically. Scale and authenticity are different conversations. Scale and authenticity are different conversations. The fork in the road. Right now, boxing fans face a fork. Path A, stabilize what exists. Hope patches fix fundamentals. Trust that the sequel addresses everything. Path B, encourage competition. Signal to publishers there is demand. Support studios willing to build from scratch. Neither path is inherently wrong, but pretending both paths lead to the same destination is naive. But pretending both paths lead to the same destination is naive. The silent majority. There is also a third group. They're not arguing. They're not defending. They're not attacking. They're just gone. They bought the game, played it, put it down, and moved on. And that silent majority is more dangerous than loud critics. That silent majority is more dangerous than loud critics because apathy doesn't make noise. It just erodes momentum. It just erodes momentum. If there's still hope, if there is still a chance to rebuild trust, it will require a detailed mechanical roadmap, a public acknowledgement of system flaws, a transparent development diaries, a third-party community audit, a demonstrative redesign, not minor tweaks, not marketing, not hype, proof, concrete redesigns, system rewrites, before and after demonstrations, before and after demonstration. Why I'm skeptical? I don't base hope on emotion. I base it on trajectory. Trajectory right now suggests marketing focus over mechanical overhaul, community division over unity, assumption over data. And that combination does not scream deep simulation pivot. It screams stabilization and revenue preservation. It screams stabilization and revenue preservation. That may be smart business, but it's not necessarily aligning with simulation purists. What ignoring naysayers actually mean? Ignoring naysayers doesn't mean ignoring criticism. It means ignoring defeatism. That's a difference. Constructive pressure is healthy. Demanding transparency is healthy. Calling for higher standards is healthy. But just give up is never happening. Accepting what you get, that mentality guarantees stagnation. If fans want a boxing game that reflects sports authenticity, they must stay organized. Not loud, not toxic, organized. The hard truth. Sometimes companies don't pivot. Sometimes sequels double down. Sometimes marketing wins. Sometimes criticism loses. And sometimes the only way a genre improves is when competition enters the arena. Boxing deserves competition. The sport itself is built on it. Let me see. The illusion of progress. Let me see if anybody popped in here. No. All right. The illusion of progress. One of the easiest traps to fall into is confusion. Confusion activity with, one of the easiest traps to fall into is confusing activity with improvement. New tutorials, new promo trailers, community spotlights, update menus. That is activity. But activity is not structural redesign. If stamina logic remains exploitable, if inside fighting still lacks layered physics, if AI still reacts instead of thinks, then polish does not equal progress. Progress in a simulation game must be mechanical, not cosmetic. The sequel hope strategy. There's another argument floating around. They're saying the real fixes for the sequel. They're saving the real fixes for the sequel. Let's examine that carefully. If the foundation has visible cracks now, the community is split now, and the trust is weakened now, why would you defer rebuilding the foundation? Why would you defer rebuilding the foundation? Sequels are not magic resets. They are extensions of philosophy. Its philosophy hasn't been publicly reevaluated. Expecting a dramatic pivot is optimism without evidence. The risk of conditioning. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Fans trust companies. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Fans train companies. Fans train companies how to treat them. If fans accept shallow mechanics, If fans prioritize presentation over depth, if fans fight each other instead of asking for clarity, if fans move on quickly without organized feedback, companies adapt accordingly, not maliciously, logically. Markets improve to behavior patterns. Right now, boxing fans are not unified in demand, and disunity weakens leverage. What unity actually looks like? Unity does not mean blind spots. Unity means agreeing on measurable standards, demanding transparency respectfully, supporting third party audits, refusing to drown in internal fan wars. You can disagree on tone, but the mission must be aligned. If half the community says it's fine and the other half says it's broken, developers would choose the least demanding narrative every time. Why this moment matters. This is the first modern boxing title in years to sell at scale. That means this moment sets precedent. If the cycle ends with minimal mechanical overhaul, heavy marketing focus, divided fan base, no transparent feedback process, then the industry learns something dangerous. Boxing fans would tolerate it, and that lesson could echo for a decade. The difference between hate and standards. Some people will hear this episode and say, "You're just negative." Let's clarify something. Negativity attacks people. Standards evaluate systems. There is a difference. Saying this stamina model lacks layered fatigue, decay, tied to punch output and ring generalship is not hate. It's analysts. Saying the inside game does not reflect positional leverage or clinch variance is not toxicity. It's critique. If critique feels threatening, that's not the critique's fault. What happens if nothing changes? Let's play this out realistically. If no deep mechanical transparency happens, if no survey is released, if marketing ramps up while systematic issues remain, then one of two things will happen. The fan base stabilizes at a lower standard, a new developer sees opportunity and enters the space. That's what I'm hoping for. History suggests competition often creates improvement faster than internal hope. History suggests competition often creates improvement faster than the internal hope. And that's what I'm hoping for. Encouraging other developers. Encouraging other developers. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Nobody's here. All right. Did anybody even vote? I got 4 votes, so that means 4 people did come here. Actually, 18 people viewed. Let me see how many of my. All right, 3 of my 3 people that usually be here, they're just in the shadows. Okay. Encouraging other developers. This part matters. Fans hoping for competition are not traders. Fans hoping for competition are not traders. Like we are aligned with a company. How are we being traders? All right. They are marketing signals. They are market signals. When fans publicly state, we want deeper systems, publishers notice. This is what I'm trying to tell to these naysayers. A survey will not work. A survey will get the publishers and the investors' attention. Forget the company. The publishers and the investors' attention and the shareholders, especially if it's made public. We could get rid of we could knock out the a survey being made for other companies, because all companies will see that survey if it's made public. They say, "Oh, all right, we know what people want." Because companies are scared to death. They want to make boxing games, but they're scared to death. They're like, maybe if we make a boxing game, we don't know if this is what the fans want. But a survey would show you what they want. All right, let me see. This part, the survey, this part matters. Fans hoping for competition are not traders. They are marketing signals. When fans publicly state, we want deeper system, publishers notice. When fans organize around simulation demand, studios notice. Boxing licensing is not required to build a mechanically superior boxing game. Boxing licensing is not required to build a mechanically superior boxing game. Physics, AI depth, stamina modeling, footwork authenticities. These are design choices, not brand recognition or brand restrictions. The danger of giving up. Now let's talk about the opposite extreme. Total resignation, saying sports games are all bad. Somebody said that. Saying sports games are all bad is pointless. Nothing will ever change. That mindset guarantees stagnation. Pressure without organization is noise. Pressure without organization is noise. Resignation without action is silence. Resignation without action is silence. Neither produce reform. What this episode is really about. This episode isn't about one company. It's about fan leverage, simulation standards, industry signals, accountability, direction. Right now, boxing fans are at a crossroads. Right now, boxing fans are at a crossroads. Do we normalize compromise? Do we normalize compromise? Or do we insist that realism be more than a marketing word? Do we insist that realism be more than a marketing word? And from my research, that's what they do nowadays, and it's okay. And it's like they can say realism and stuff and still give us an arcade-like game. And that's crazy how they got slick on us. How that's even a thing. From research, I was like, yo, they can use realism. Hey, we making a realistic sim, and then they make it arcade. All right, the hard question. If a new studio announced tomorrow We are building a boxing simulation from ground up with transparent dev logs and a third party surveys. How many fans will shift attention? Be honest. The answer alone tells you everything about what trust currently. That answer alone tells you everything about where trust currently stands. That right there, if a studio said we are building a boxing simulation from the ground up with transparent dev logs and third-party surveys, man, fans will go crazy. Boxers will go crazy. I mean, managers would go crazy. Promoters would go crazy. Because it would be unheard of. Steel City ain't do this. Steel City didn't do this. We're building a boxing simulation from the ground up. That part we could say they did in the beginning. And then they disrespected us. But we have a new company say they're doing this, and we know they're going to stick to their guns because Steel City didn't. We're going to be all in. A lot of us don't care about the boxers. We want their game. The boxers will come. All right. My final position, expanded. I don't hate anyone involved in the current game. Because hate is a strong word. I respect effort, but respect does not equal silence. Hope requires trajectory. Trust requires transparency. Depth requires intentional design philosophy. Right now, the evidence does not strongly support a deep simulation pivot. And pretending otherwise will be dishonest. And pretending otherwise will be dishonest. And pretending otherwise will be dishonest. So here we are, fans trying to save what exists. Fans hoping someone builds what should have existed. Fans who have left quietly. Fans who are tired. Fans who still care deeply about boxing. The question is not, do you support the game? The question is, do you support higher standards for boxing video games? Because those two questions are not automatically the same. And the moment will define which direction the genre moves next. And this moment will define which direction the genre moves next. Is the next 12 months bring only marketing and minor tweaks? Will you still believe they know what you want? Or will you start demanding proof? Let's talk. Let me do my Q&As. Let me see. Yo, this is the first time nobody really hasn't been in the chat. Yeah, y'all got tired of Poe already? All right. Let me see what my time looking like. All right. Do my Q&As, and then I'm in the show. So you're complete, question one. So you're completely giving up on SCI. My answer, I given up on blind optimism. I'm giving up on blind optimism. There's a difference. Hope requires trajectory. Trust requires transparency. Death requires evidence. Right now, I don't see strong public signals of a deep mechanical pivot. That doesn't mean change is impossible. It means belief must be earned with action, not assumption because of branding. Question two, why not just support the game and let them cook? My answer, support without accountability becomes conditioning. If fans consistently reward marketing cycles, cosmetic patches, influencer pushes, while foundational complaints remain unresolved, the incentive to rebuild systems decreases. Support and standards should coexist. If something is broken at a structural level, silence doesn't fix it. Question three, aren't you dividing the community? I don't know why people keep saying this. Aren't you dividing the community? My answer, the community was divided long before this episode. Some want realism at all costs. Some want accessibility first. Some just want something playable. Some already left. Acknowledging division is not causing division. Acknowledging division is not causing division. Ignoring it guarantees stagnation. Unity doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means aligning on measurable expectations. It means aligning on measurable expectations. Question four, what if SCI really does know what we want? See, y'all trying to trigger me. Y'all not gonna gaslight me. Y'all not gonna gaslight me. If they truly understand what the simulation crowd wants, then we should see a public mechanical roadmap, transparent systems breakdowns, acknowledgement of specific flaws, redesigned demonstrations. Understanding demand and delivering on it are two separate things. Results validate understanding. Question five. You sound negative. Negativity attacks people. Standards evaluate systems. I don't know why people keep saying I sound negative. Y'all sound like a person that enjoys being a slave to a system or to a person. Y'all love humbling yourself to anything and everything. I can. I'm a very humble person, extremely humble. I'm a humble person. And I know it's hard to, I can't see you as being humble. I'm very humble and I'm very dangerous because a silent person is very dangerous. I'm very humble. But when it comes to boxing, I'm gonna speak out. I'm gonna speak out. This is where I'm able to talk. That's why I'm so deep into being an artist and stuff, because I didn't have a voice. I didn't talk. I wasn't a talker. My art was my talk. That talked for me. My writing talked for me. I didn't even want to do podcasts. I didn't even want to talk. If it was up to me, I'd do like Claim Uncut did. And I still didn't want to talk. And my thing is, I had to force myself. And shout out to those that helped me get on here. Hey, Paul, you got to do it, man. For decades, people been asking me. I could have been more seasoned and a better content creator if I would have stayed at it. But I said, no, I'm not a talker. Because my thing is, I always had someone, I was their sidekick. Even though I started the podcast, they were the talkers, and I just added on to whatever they said. I didn't want to be the main person talking. All right, let me get back to this because I keep going off track. If I say the stamina model lacks layered fatigue tied to output, that's analyst. If I say inside fighting lacks positional leverage modeling, that's critique. We need normalized technical conversations without labeling them as hate. Question 6. Why is a third-party survey so important? Because arguments are emotional. Data is leverage. If independently audited survey shows 65% wants deeper stamina modeling, if 70% want realism as default, if 60% feel unheard, that forces clarity. Without data, developers can always say it's just a loud minority. Without data, developers can always say it's just a loud minority. With data, that excuse disappears because that's what they always do. I got a lot of history in this. Y'all always look at me like, y'all think gaming just started 5 years ago, 10 years ago. That's how some of y'all be looking at it. And y'all think some people just walked away from gaming at a certain age or at a certain time. A lot of us stayed gamers and we learned about gaming. A lot of us became developers. So stop trying to, because you didn't, make it your duty to dig deeper and stuff like that. Don't push that off on anybody else. Do not push that off on anybody else. Like they be saying, Paul, you don't know what you're talking about, man. You really don't know what you're talking about. You think you know what you're talking about. That's you. You don't know what you're talking about. I can sit there and have conversation with developers and they be like, yeah, you're right. How do you know that? Let me look it up. And the same thing go to y'all that doubt me. Ask me any question. And I'm going to give you the answer to it. And y'all think is y'all going to always make an excuse for me to get how I get the answer or where I got the answer from. My thing is, will the answer work? Will the answer work? This is for the developers and you naysayers. Will the answers work? Not y'all saying it won't work. Because my thing is, to the developer that say it won't work, tell me why it won't work. Tell me why it will not work. And majority of the time, what they're going to say is too time consuming or it's going to cost too much. And the cost too much part and the time consuming things can be alleviated quickly. So that's another excuse. Because what happened is when you prove it to the investors or you prove it to the shareholders, they invest more into it because they feel, hey, we can get that fan base. We can get more people. So all that nonsense they're bringing up, oh, we can't do that, and it's too time-consuming. I can't get with that. Maybe you could tell it to somebody that don't do their research. Maybe you could tell it to somebody that doesn't do their research. What if most players actually prefer hybrid or arcade? My answer, then at least we know. That's the point. If the majority truly prefers lighter mechanics, simulation purists can stop guessing and either adapt or look elsewhere. Transparency benefits everyone. Transparency benefits everyone. And that's what data does. Why not just wait for Undisputed 2? That's question number 8. Why not just wait for Undisputed 2? My answer, sequels don't automatically fix philosophy. If current design direction hasn't publicly shifted, expecting a radical overhaul in the sequel is speculation. I'm not against a sequel. I'm against blind faith without system-level evidence. When I say system-level evidence, I do not mean a new system like Unity. I mean, like Unreal Engine. That means nothing. The same problems can coexist in Unreal Engine. Question 9. Is encouraging other developers disloyal? Disloyal to who? Show no loyalty to Undisputed. Undisputed showed no loyalty to me. Is disloyal? That sounds childish. Who said this question? Let me see. Who said this question? Who question is this? My answer is no. Competition improves genres. Boxing itself is built on competition. If other studios see clear demand for a deep simulation, that's healthy for the entire space. It raises standards across the board. Question 10. What if SEI is limited by budget? I can't get with that. Y'all keep getting with that. What's up? I'm Precisely. Appreciate you popping in. Appreciate you. What is SEI is limited by budget? My answer, budget affects content volume, licensing, animation quantity, not quality, quantity, production scale. Budget does not automatically excuse flawed logic systems. Stamina math, AI decision trees, damage modeling. Those are design architecture decisions. Scale and philosophy are separate conversations. So stop keep throwing that budget thing out there, because we as customers and everything, we can push the budget to be better, bigger. We can push for them to get a bigger team. But everybody is so fractured. They're always guessing, oh, it can't be done. They're not going to be able to do it. They're not going to listen, because that's how you're thinking. That's exactly how you're thinking. You know how many developers in the past wanted me to keep pushing? My push means the company push for them to do better. A lot of developers want to make better games, but it's the fans that accept things. Are fans partially responsible? Yes. Fans teach companies what they can get away with. If we fight each other more than we demand clarity, if we accept minimal transparency, if we prioritize presentation over mechanics, companies respond accordingly. Marketing adapts to behavior patterns. What would restore your hope? Y'all starting to ask the same questions. Very simple. A third-party transparency survey, a public mechanical roadmap, system-level dev diaries, before and after demonstration of redesigned features, direct acknowledgement of foundational complaints, not marketing, not influencer cycles, proof. What if nothing changes? Y'all keep asking that question, but I'm going to answer it. Then one of two things happen. The fans destabilize at a lower standard. Another developer sees the gap and enters the market. History suggests competition often creates reform faster than hope. Question 14. Are you trying to kill the game? Answer no. I'm trying to protect the future of boxing video games. I'm trying to protect the future of boxing video games. It seems like I'm the only one, to be honest. A lot of people left, went and did other things. They don't care. Seem like I'm the only one. Seem like I'm the only one. A lot of people just accepting things. Seem like I'm the only person. And that's the problem. They're the difference. If standards drop now, the genre could stagnate for another decade. We probably won't even get another game ever. If standards rise now, then moments become turning points. If standards rise now, this moment becomes a turning point. Question 15. So what should fans do right now? Answer. Push for a transparent third-party survey. Organize around measurable demands. Stop fighting internally. Support higher standards respectfully. Encourage competition without toxicity. Encourage competition without toxicity. And when I say encourage competition, I'm talking about from other companies. Be strategic, not loud, not defeated, strategic. This might be my final question. If the next year brings marketing, but no foundational marketing, but no foundation mechanical transparency, will you still believe they know what you want? Or will you start demanding evidence? Let's talk. Let me see what's going on. All right, I'm about to end the show. Gave y'all an hour. I'm going to give my shout outs. Shout out to Precisely. He came in here. Shout out to Lamont Davis. Shout out to who else be popping in here? Shout out to Leafy, boxing, pound for pound boxing game, Leafy, changed the name Leafy. Shout out to Wolf, Shaolin Faze. Shout out to Blaster X1. Shout out to Don D205. Let me see. Shout out to the Wishlist Mafia, Papanosis. Shout out to you, Pat. Who else am I shout out to? Shout out to Remy. Shout out to Coach's Corner. Shout out to Dark Side. I'm not your enemy. Shout out to JMMA. A lot of y'all look at me as I'm trying to be your enemy. I'm not trying to be nobody's enemy. But I gotta, if y'all can't attack me because of my passion, I'm not trying to be your enemy. And y'all trying to be like, oh, just give up on it. No, I'm not giving up. I can't give up. I'm not from that era of giving up. I'm not from that era. Let me see. Shout out to Ichiro. Shout out to let me see who else. Going. It's so many of y'all. I gotta start writing names down. I keep saying that, but I gotta write the names down. You know, shout out to all of y'all. I appreciate y'all. Do the survey. Support this channel. Like it when you watch this video. Like it, please, and share it. If not, I'm okay with that. You know, just leave a comment if you got any questions or anything. You know, leave it in the comments, and I'll talk about it in the next show. Shout out to all of y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all taking your time out to listen to me. You know, shout out to Lux, Cleve Lux. Shout out to Lux. Shout out to I'm trying to remember name. But shout out to y'all. Until the next show tomorrow at the same time. Peace.